Welcome, bloody welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We're back. We're back for a new episode of Sunday Chat.
Sunday Chat! You look quite good with a tan.
I am slightly tanned.
You are, aren't you?
My hands are slightly tanned.
Is it an all-over tan?
No, just face and arms. That's it. That's because we went away. That's why we weren't here last week. And to those of you who were wondering where we were, you need to watch to the end of the video.
Yes, of the week before.
Hello.
Yeah, I did notice there were a few people. Are you okay?
We know.
Are you around?
We know who the true fans are.
Yeah, the three. Yeah.
So, welcome, bloody welcome. Thank you for joining us on all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Planet Vegetaria, which is a Facebook group by Richard and Paul since 2017. That's contractual. And of course our coffee page, where you can follow us and buy us a coffee. Yes.
Oh, it's later in the day than normal, isn't it?
It is later in the day. It's Friday afternoon when we're videoing this.
It's quite warm outside.
It is. It's summer. It's beautiful. It's usual temperatures.
It is,
for
isn't
this
it?
time of year. Yeah. Which is kind of acceptable.
Yeah.
What wasn't acceptable was the horrendous heat wave. And we're going to talk about that because we're British. We love to talk about the weather.
Is it British people or is it English people? I think Scottish do as well, don't they?
I think it's British people in general. We talk about the weather because we do have very changeable weather.
You're not allowed to say that anymore now we're out of the EU.
Oh, well.
You've just got to say changeable.
Changeable weather.
Changeable weather.
In it though.
Yeah.
Weather.
We've had a heat wave.
A heat wave.
Heat wave.
Yeah, the heat wave. Let's talk about that for a small amount of time.
It was hot.
Oh God, it was hot. I mean, it was. We clocked up 40.8 outside.
Yeah.
And what did you clock at the top of the
48.
house? 48. I mean, that's nearly halfway to boiling point.
Yeah, it is. In fact, I mean, I know other places get hotter, but the thing is, this is not usual. It is just not usual.
Let's kind of address that. So, we don't want droves of people going, oh, well, you should live in Australia, blah, blah, blah. We know that other areas of the world have consistently higher temperatures than the UK does. That's why it was a shock.
Yeah.
For goodness sake. We have experienced high temperatures before in other countries. We have travelled around a little bit. Oh, the sun don't go in. I've adjusted the lighting.
But yeah, our infrastructure and our homes and, everything about the UK is not built for the temperatures that we were getting. And in fact, so few places are built for the climatic conditions that we are going to have to get used to.
Well, I mean, people were talking about, oh, well, the UK is going to have to get aircon. Aircon's part of the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've got these areas which are known as urban heat islands. Now, these are sort of areas that have lots of concrete, not enough trees, not enough greenery, because greenery and trees cool down an area.
Yeah.
It's
totally.
Scientific fact.
Yeah. If you have a boulevard without trees and a boulevard with trees, then you can see that there's a 10 degree difference between the two.
Yeah.
Automatically.
And if you fill those areas with aircon units, which are, frankly, the heat's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, it goes outside.
It goes outside. So, aircon's part of the problem. I mean, okay, aircon doesn't kick out lots of greenhouse gases,
It does.
Well, it doesn't kick them out. It contains them.
Does it?
Yeah, well, it's like a refrigerator. A refrigerator doesn't give off greenhouse gases.
No, that's
it's
true.
contained within the refrigeration unit.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So it's the recycling of those units which is the issue as well.
Yeah.
But, the heat has to go somewhere else. If you've ever used a portable air conditioning unit, which are frankly not worth it, we've got one, you have to exhaust the heat. So...
And where do you exhaust it?
Into the air.
Into the air.
The surrounding air. So I think there are solutions. There's lots of different scientific solutions that cost a fortune. We're fortunate here because this front room here stays 10 degrees cooler than the outside.
Yeah, I think what
summer.
was the temperature down here?
24.
So it's 24 down here, so it's 20 degrees difference.
I think it reached 20 degrees.
Yeah.
20 degrees difference.
Well, if I was 48 degrees up there.
Yeah, with that, I'm talking about the outside. I did go out at one point in the peak to feel how it felt.
Oh, you did?
I mean, I think I felt temperatures like that when I was in Tunisia years and years and years ago. I think it was the high 30s. But yeah, you literally couldn't do anything. You could barely walk around.
You said it felt a bit like when we went to Bali and we stopped over in Singapore with a flight.
And I went out for a cigarette.
You went out for a cigarette.
Bam! It hits you like a wall.
Yeah, just a humid wall of heat.
Yeah, but it wasn't, the heat here wasn't humid.
No,
it was
wasn't.
dry. It was a dry heat. So that's actually easier to cope with for me.
Yeah.
So, it was horrendous. And
what was difficult for me was going down and doing the watering at the plot.
Yeah.
Because you go down, even early in the morning, it was like 24 degrees. And you'd go down and it was sort of fine. And then you start watering. And of course the humidity just rises because you're watering the plot. Even if you're watering correctly, you're watering the plants rather than the whole area. Think if there was been sprinklers going on, it would have been even worse.
yeah, and of course now we're hearing that Southern Water have just put a hose pipe ban in place.
Yeah.
And I think Thames Water will follow suit. So
Yeah,
we're going
surprise me.
We're going into a drought. I mean, the garden is dry, very dry.
And the allotment, if you watch a week at the plot, I've been saying for weeks how dry the allotment is. I mean, the grass is now just straw.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's going to take a lot of rain to restore.
And a lot of the right type of rain as well, because if we have heavy rain, it's just going to run off the surface and run down, in our case, into the River Brent and into the Grand Union Canal. So we need lots of light rain and medium rain rather than sort of heavy bursts of rain.
Sustained.
Yeah.
Sustained rain.
Because literally, I talk about this in an article I did for the Guernsey Press in the Guernsey Gardener in London, which we'll come on to in a minute. But I talk about, footfall and how that footfall on dry ground just scuffs up that top surface and it just blows away. It just becomes dust and blows away. So with rain, that would just run into the rivers and the canals.
Well, runoff is to do with hard ground, surely.
Yeah, but it's hard ground underneath, but it's dust on top, and that would just flow away.
Yeah.
Down to another plot, it has to be said.
So anyway, it's dry, it's warm, looks like there's no significant rain on the way at the moment.
No.
But certain areas of the UK have had rain.
Yep.
So it's mainly the south, which is badly affected.
And the south.
And the southeast.
East.
And
yeah,
that's it. So, hey-ho. It's not good though. And of course, we also have to recognise that a huge portion of this is to do with man-made climate change.
Yeah.
Now, to the person that made the comment the other day on climate change not being man-made, which we replied to, we are completely and utterly aware that climate change is also a natural process. Climate change has been happening over eons in different cold and warm cycles.
Yeah.
The scientists have studied this. They're well aware of this. The difference is they are able to measure the length of time that those cooling and warming phases took. And they're able to measure that against this current warming phase, which is accelerated.
Yeah.
And that is due to the fact that we have, since the Industrial Revolution, been belching out gases into the atmosphere which are warming the planet. This is scientifically proven. Please don't tell us anything else. We know the science.
And if you do tell us something else,
please forget
it.
Yeah, just, it's not worth it, really.
No.
There's thousands and thousands of scientists that agree on this now.
I think it's fantastic that climate change deniers, they find 20 people who agree with them that there's no, climate change.
Man-made
climate change. Yet they ignore the, tens of thousands of experts that are saying that there is. And of course that's where conspiracy theories come from, isn't it?
But I think the thing that some people fail to realise is that effectively the Earth is a closed system.
It's a closed unit.
So if you take, say, a terrarium, which is a bottle garden, which can be sealed and will live in its own ecosystem. If you take one of those and pump in greenhouse gases, what will happen is it will warm up and become basically polluted and poisoned.
And die.
And that's exactly what's happening to the Earth. We're a closed system. Those gases don't just seep through the atmosphere into space.
No, they don't dissipate.
They're sealed in within the atmosphere. So, did we not think that over time this was going to happen? Did we?
Well, we knew it. It was first talked about in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it was well talked about in the 60s. It was well documented. And the interesting thing is, you look at the ozone layer. People were talking about ozone being overused in aerosols and things like that.
CFCs.
And people came together and they all said, we have to stop this. And the ozone layer has improved over the sort of decade of cutting things out.
Cutting CFCs out.
Cutting CFCs out so well. Yet we can see what is happening now and people aren't getting on board with it. And frankly, it's just making rich people richer.
Well, if anybody agrees with the fact that man can still go on belching out all these gases and smoke and whatever else is belched into the atmosphere on a daily basis.
All raked from the earth.
If people think that's okay to continue doing that, regardless of climate change, then I'm afraid you're a complete nut job.
Yeah.
Really.
There is no planet B.
No.
We can't suddenly ship 8 billion people to another planet.
This is why
it's not going to happen.
This is why we have to do everything we can as individuals to try and cut down on that.
And mitigate our carbon footprints.
We have to try, Otherwise, there is no future. No. Hurrah!
There we are.
How fabulous.
What a lovely cheery start to Sunday Chat.
I'm channeling Jennifer Hart today, I feel.
Are you?
With my bouncy locks.
Are you going to be kidnapped?
Oh, Jonathan.
She's been kidnapped a lot lately.
She has lately. She's been kidnapped. She's been duplicated.
Doppelganged, hasn't she?
Several times.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's getting a bit silly heart to heart these
Yeah.
days. But more on television later. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention about the heat wave was people on social media and also the weathermen have been trolled.
Oh, God, yes.
Horrendous
ridiculous.
trolling of people saying, oh, get over it, it's just summer, it's just a bit of hot weather, stop scaremongering. This has happened a lot. I think we mentioned it before. Alexa, please stop.
She's interfering today.
And, it's like when people think that scientists and the weathermen are all in collusion and there's some kind of conspiracy theory. Why? Why? Why would they do that? And don't tell me it's people control, because COVID. We've had COVID. They know what happens when people have to do what they say. That model's already been tested.
Yeah.
Why would you bother doing that? When people warn people about extreme heat, it is to do with vulnerable people whose bodies cannot cope in the heat, who need to be told, stay indoors. I work in learning disabilities, and people with LD very often don't know how to dress appropriately for warm or hot weather or cold weather, need to be given guidance on what to do and reminded on how to cope. So, this is for people in society that need guidance, that need to be told, stay out of the heat, or else you could become unwell,
Well,
and of course, in that kind of heat, it affects healthy people as well. So we have to have guidance.
It's just been announced today that they reckon between 800 and 900 people in the UK died on the 18th and 19th of July, over and above the number that would normally have died on those 2 days.
And also,
that's a lot of people.
We actually know somebody who lived in the village that got burned down by the wildfire in East London. We know somebody. They've lost their home. It's all gone.
All burnt to the ground.
So now try and tell me, oh, it's just summer. It's just a bit of hot weather. No, it's not. It was extreme. People got hurt. People lost their homes.
Yeah. People died.
Seriously?
People died.
Annoys me. Really annoys me. Anyway, we're going to move on now. Paul, run VT. Got a little video for you now. We're going over directly to Guernsey, international travellers, aren't we, Paul? No, you can stop doing that now, Paul.
I'm
Stop
running
that.
the VT.
No, you just press a button these days, innit? We're going to run a little VT.
I just pressed the button.
We're going to run a little VT for you now.
It's not working.
We're going over to Guernsey for a little trip that we had to the island of Herm. Run VT. Paul, where are we off to today?
Herm.
We're sailing over to Herm.
From St. Peter Port.
From St. Peter Port.
In Guernsey.
And we're having a little day out on our own.
Yeah.
Hurrah!
Yeah. So that will be nice. When was the last time we went to Herm?
No, it was a good few years ago.
My brother was 50, wasn't he? So I'm 56. He'll be 62. 12 years ago.
Okay, cool.
12 years ago, yeah.
We'll show you our journey as we go.
So up there, you can see a turret with a flag. That's where I went to school. And some of the assemblies we had were in St. James, which is the round bit which is closer, and that's also where I used to work as the assistant to the director many years ago. And then up to the right over there is Candy Gardens, where Richard took the photos last time we were here.
I certainly did.
You can just see the bandstand, can you?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lovely.
Thank you. So that's St. Peter Port then, Paul, in all its glory.
It is, yeah.
Beautiful in the sunshine, isn't it?
It's I mean, I think it's even lovely in the sort of grey winter days.
So that is Castle Cornet.
Castle Cornet, yeah, which has the noonday gun, which we heard as we were coming back, didn't we, into the harbour?
Yeah, it gave me the fright of my life.
It did. And this is, I mean, I used to play here when Dad was working on the docks. We used to go onto little boats and go out in here as the big boats were coming in and going out.
And as you can see, there are a lot of boats. I mean, that's just a small fraction of the number of boats that are in the harbour.
Yeah, I think those are local boats.
I mean, it's an island nation.
It is.
There we are, a bit more of a view of Castle Cornet.
Yeah, and then that's actually looking across towards where Mum's apartment was.
Yeah, that's it, St Sampson's.
Nice to see lifeboats there.
I love that orange against the blue.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why they do it, the contrast.
Well, yeah, so that you can see it. Yeah.
Lovely.
Absolutely.
We're getting further out now.
Yeah,
nearer
we
and
are.
nearer to Herm. Beautiful. Look
Oh,
at that
look at that.
sparkling sea. Who doesn't love a sparkling sea?
That's Jetu in the middle.
Jetu.
Just by that lady's hat.
And we seem to move around, didn't we? In sort of different directions. I suppose we're skirting round rocks. aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's treacherous water
Now, what's that
around
island?
there.
That's a private island.
That's Jetu.
That's Jetu. That's private, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
In fact, I was just reading about the Jetu owner in 1963 who got into trouble.
Always reminds me of Kirin Island in the famous 5 book.
Oh, well, there we are.
5 on a Treasure Island.
And then we're coming into the smaller sort of Rosaire harbour with the Rosaire steps.
Oh
which
yeah, we'll see the steps in a minute.
we see
won't
those.
Yeah, we do see the steps. There we are,
There
the
they
Rosaire
are.
steps. That's the entrance to Herm.
Yeah, those are the steps
Yeah.
that go up. So this is, you can moor here, but it's not. There's a bigger harbour further around.
Bye bye, travel trident. Don't forget to pick us up.
Yeah.
Don't leave us stranded.
So this was about 9 o'clock, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we're up on the cliff top now, looking back. And these are the cliff top walks, very typical, lots of bracken, loads of butterflies, sparkling sea views, vertiginous cliffs.
Just glorious. And that's Sark in the background. And then we go around and then there's Breccu, which you can just see there where the Barclay brothers
Look
used
at
to live.
the colour of the water.
It's stunning.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, look at that cliff. One step out of place and you're dead. Literally.
Dear. And there's a big cave underneath our feet as well, isn't there?
Beautiful,
as well. It's
just
a
stunning.
walkway that goes above a cave.
This is Herm. This is typical. This is a typical Herm view. It's a tiny island.
Yeah, and there was a couple having lunch on that boat.
There were loads of butterflies, but every time I tried to film, they disappeared. Look at that. Glorious. Absolutely beautiful.
That's looking right across to Shell Beach on the far side there.
And this bay is Belvoir Bay, this first one.
The first little one.
There we are, that's a close-up. Slightly out of focus, I do apologise, but look at that, you just want to dive in.
Yeah, we didn't though.
No, we didn't, because we didn't have bathing costumes.
No, we didn't.
Beautiful, gorgeous, and that's Shell Beach, isn't it? I mean, that could be the Caribbean pool.
Yeah.
Couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just glorious.
And here we are, waiting for the ferry to arrive back, the Travel Trident.
That's coming back into Rosaire Steps.
This was the 11:35, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the next one would have actually come back from the harbour, the main harbour.
So there we are. That's for our journey back, and it was full, wasn't it?
It was full, yeah. That boat was full coming off, and then only about 6 or 8 of us got back on.
This is our journey back, which was very windy, I remember.
It was.
Very breezy.
Breeze had picked up.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Beautiful.
we're going where that boat has just come from.
And this is
Vale Castle.
Vale Castle, next day.
Lovely.
And you'll see some views going back towards Herm.
They used to have an Earth Fair here each year.
Now that's
Vale
Herm
Castle.
in the distance.
Yeah, that's Herm.
We're going to do a little bit of a
Oh, it's
sweep.
lovely. Then Sark, then Breccu, Little Sark, and then Jetu there. Can we see Jersey? We can't see Jersey, I don't think. Maybe just in the background. Oh yeah, that is Jersey. Yeah, just in the background.
And we're looking back towards St. Peter Port and also the industrial part of St. Sampson's, which is where the recycling centre is. There are boat yards. There's a harbour.
This is where all the gas used to come in as well to the island.
Ship.
So all of that land is reclaimed that we're seeing in the middle there. This is where Dad used to work on gas boats inside the harbour.
And that's Bordeaux Harbour.
Bordeaux.
Beautiful, beautiful place. We went for a cornetto there.
We
Is
did.
That Alderney?
That's Alderney.
In the
That's
distance,
Alderney,
on the
which
horizon.
is literally on just off France before you get into the English Channel. And there's France right on the edge. That's lovely.
Just
Look at that.
stunning. The blue. This is not enhanced, by the way. This is as it was in glorious 4K. Now we're at Bordeaux Harbour having our ice cream at this point, aren't
Yeah. Were there seagulls in the water?
we? Yeah, you can see
there's
one
seagull. Yeah.
wading in the water.
Yeah. It is one of my favourite views. I've got so many favourite views
That
in
is
Guernsey.
Herm. That's Herm.
That's Herm, yeah.
Yeah. And this is our final evening looking at the sunset. This is about 9 o'clock at night.
This is Grand Rock.
Grand Rock. And you can see people are still waves, board surfing or whatever they call it. Kites, I don't know what they call it.
Sailboarding.
Sailboard, I don't know.
Wasn't there a couple in the water?
There was a
at
couple
this
of people
point?
in the water. There were people on the beach still.
Yeah.
I don't think I got the people in the water on the
No.
shot. The seagulls enjoying the sunset as well.
It was a
very
glorious
pretty.
sunset.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Well, it wasn't the most spectacular, but it was just delicate colours.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at that. You've got people still on the beach
Yeah,
in
you
far
can
right.
see people there. Yeah.
So there you go. That's our little home snaps of Guernsey.
That's lovely.
Holiday snaps of Guernsey, I mean. So there we have it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Guernsey this time because it was a little bit different this time.
It was.
We had a couple of things to deal with emotionally,
Yeah.
didn't we?
So, Mum, as most of you will know, Mum is now in a care home. Her choice to be in the care home, but that obviously means that her apartment that she and Dad had for almost 20 years is being emptied, and my brother and his family have done quite a lot of work. Doing that. So we arrived for our final stay in the apartment to a very different space than when we left it 6 weeks ago, something like that. Many of all of Mum's clothes had gone. A lot of the ornaments, all of that had been dispersed to charity shops and other places, and it was sort of what I expected, but also hit home the fact that this last visit was our last visit in that apartment. So it's sort of, I've always thought that even though it wasn't a 2-bedroom apartment, there was a floor to sleep on at my parents', if you like, and that of course is no longer going to be true. The apartment goes at the end of this month, and it's quite a major thing, really.
Well, when we left, we said goodbye
Yeah.
to the apartment. And it was, I was quite tearful. But, this is the normal way of things.
It is.
You say goodbye to places that you've known, homes that you've known, places that you've known. This is what happens. And, these weren't bitter tears of awful sadness.
Oh,
they
no,
were
not at all.
just momentary as you walk out the door.
Yeah,
you
because
say
there'd
goodbye.
been many, many happy years.
And I said to the apartment, may your new owners have a very happy time here. And I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they
Yeah.
will.
What was interesting for me is we'd known that this day was coming for quite some time, and I thought it would be nice to have those glasses, and Mum and Dad had a wonderful big silver tray given them on their 25th wedding anniversary, and there were a few things I thought it would be really nice to have. But actually, when that day dawned, having memories, if you like, the memories that the things that I thought and said, I'd like, actually those things didn't mean an awful lot because I've got my memories. And I think the only thing, we brought back a few things like teaspoons and some cutlery, but the only thing that I brought back that is a real sort of link to my parents is the glass tea caddy that Mum and Dad were given for their wedding in 1954, and it's been in use, throughout all those years, and it's what Mum and Dad, and Mum in later years, of course, kept the tea bags in. And every time we'd make a cup of tea in a teapot, you'd lift the lid off, you'd put the tea bags in the teapot, make your tea, lid back on, and I just looked at it and I thought, yeah, need to take that.
I put the Earl Grey into it.
I know you have. I know you have.
It should be used. It's a useful object. But the other things we did get were the paintings that we wanted.
Yeah.
There were 3 paintings.
They were my paintings.
By Suzanne Cliff.
Yeah.
Guernsey artist. And we've got 2 already. If you've ever watched a video we made a while back called Vlog Around the House, I think it was, or no, not Vlog Around the House, looking at art around the house.
Yeah.
I think they probably, two of the ones we have here feature there, and we've got 3 more now, which are landscape.
They are, and they're the ones that we've got are charcoal of Hopeville House in Guernsey, which is where Victor Hugo lived, and the National Trust shop in Guernsey as well. Where these I think landscapes. they're landscapes, but they're also, I think, crayon. So they're still packed up, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still packed up. I'm not sure whether there's anywhere for them to go.
They could go there.
Would one fit there?
Yeah, one would fit there.
Yeah, maybe we have 2 in here.
Yeah, maybe we have 2 in here, or
that's
maybe have 3.
Idea.
We could have 2 there and one above that one.
Good idea, boy.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
I'll do that now. No, actually, I think they would look good in here, actually. Yeah.
But there, as Richard says, it was a local artist, Guernsey, many years ago, and she was the sister of one of my schoolmates at school.
And they are good. They're good, very nice pieces of art. So it was not bittersweet. That's the wrong word.
No.
It was emotional.
Yeah, it was that
an emotional
sort of
journey.
It's knowing that something has come to an end or is coming to an end imminently, and that new phase has begun because it has begun.
Well,
so,
when anything ends, even when somebody dies, a new phase begins.
Yeah.
Because it's an adjustment. It's also an opportunity to think about how you deal with things. And I think that's the key in any emotional situation. If you're falling apart over something, it means you've not processed. And you've still got stuff you deal with. We don't tend to fall apart these days. We don't tend to fall on the floor in racking sobs.
No.
We tend to have a moment and then move forward. But of course it's different if you are supporting each other. It's different if you're on your own having to deal with something.
Yeah. And of course people process things in different ways as well.
But I think we've all had moments where we've been in racking sobs and you're just desperately unhappy about something. But I think even losing people when they're older, you have to be philosophical about it and you have to understand the cycle of life. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, but when I see people saying things like, "Oh, my granddad died and I'm just devastated. This is tragic," and it's like, he was 93. What do you expect? Old man dies.
It's interesting because Mum says herself, don't worry about me because, you know, I've had a good life. You know, your dad and I had a good life. So don't worry. You know, when I die, don't feel sad.
Well, we will feel sad.
Well, we will feel sad, of course.
But
yeah,
this is life. There's no point in allowing that death, that passing of somebody, to colour the rest of your life. You know, you have to allow a mourning period. You have to go through that process. But I said to somebody the other day, you don't have to be broken for a huge period of time. You know?
But as I say, people process things in different ways.
They do, and I'm not judging people for it, Paul, but, you know, I'm just saying that I think we could all learn to be philosophical more so. You know, in Buddhism, this whole thing is talked about. You know, you feel the emotion, but you don't necessarily lose control of everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting area, isn't it?
It is, Richard. Thank you for delving us into that area.
I like to delve deep occasionally.
So Mum was good.
Yeah.
We had a really, we saw Mum every day, not surprisingly.
Yeah.
We had to test before we
Let's do the test.
Yeah, we had to do a COVID test to go and collect Mum. And we went out for several walks and had nice times and went and had...
went to the garden centre, had coffee and
cake, which was lovely.
The coffee was delicious at Earlswood.
Earlswood, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. And we just really had a good time. And on the day that we went to Herne, we popped in and saw Mum for an hour or so afterwards in the afternoon. And we also popped in on our way back the day that we flew back.
Yeah.
Because obviously you need to be wary of lunch times and meds and things like that, you know. So we had a good time and it was great seeing Mum, and I've spoken to her several times since we got back. Unfortunately, the home does now...
it's had an outbreak.
It's had an outbreak of COVID. Nothing to do with us, I'm thankful for. Mum is fine, spoke to her yesterday, she's absolutely fine. They're self-isolating in their rooms and she's watching her TV and reading her books. We got a couple of good books at Earlswood as well, so Mum's got that to get
enjoy.
On with. Yeah.
And the flight home
was
virtually empty.
It was.
Wasn't it?
It was.
I don't think we've ever been on a plane that empty.
No, it was the third flight of 4, and they've gone up from 3 flights to 4 flights during the holidays. And this third flight, I think it just didn't have, not very well booked.
Amazing, it's like being on a private jet.
It sort of was. And we were quite lucky sort of going there, weren't we, where they had a different plane. They bought a new plane to them.
Well, both ways we had good seats. Right at the front, lots of leg room. And of course Alexa, please stop. And of course, being frequent flyers now, we do know the staff.
Yes.
Oh,
the
Guernsey Airport.
Cabin staff.
Guernsey Airport. The new scanner. They've got a new scanner.
It was amazing.
For your hand luggage, you don't need to remove your liquids.
No. Or your cameras, or anything.
Nothing. It all goes through. It's a 3D scanner.
Yeah.
It can look at everything in detail.
It's like a huge jet engine.
Yeah.
It really is. It's
like a time machine.
It was quite amazing. When we went in through departures and saw it, was like, whoa!
I said, put me through it. I might come out younger.
You wouldn't want to be younger than 39, though, surely. No.
We had a laugh about it because it's quite a friendly airport. Guernsey
it's very
Airport,
friendly, yeah.
like Southampton as well.
Yeah.
So you can kind of have a laugh and a joke as you're going through security. But yes, fun. What fun!
Yeah, it was, and we were also quite lucky in that the paintings that we brought back that we mentioned earlier had to go through oversized luggage. And we weren't charged, were we?
No, we weren't charged. I think you were supposed to charge us for that.
Do you think that's because they saw you as a glamorous celebrity and were
Yes.
so shocked by how youthful you were
My complete
that
and utter beauty.
they forgot to press the pay button?
I think so. I was... Yeah.
Yeah.
I blinded them with my stunning aura.
Ah. But it was lovely.
Yeah, it was good. So we got back on Monday evening, back to work on Tuesday, and Wednesday morning, nice short week.
I went to see Vanessa on Wednesday all day, so I didn't get back till about 8 o'clock, did I? I left at 8 in the morning and got back at just after 8 as well.
I made us a lovely pasta bake, didn't I, Paul?
You did, yes, it was very
It
nice.
was lovely.
Yeah.
And I made a chili last night.
You
as
did,
well.
yeah.
It was
Why
lovely.
has your accent changed?
I don't know, really.
I don't know, really.
I don't know.
You've gone a bit northern now. Yeah.
Well, that's a lot northern, I think you'll find.
Yeah, I think you will, yeah.
So lovely, Paul. So it was also Paul's birthday as well.
It was. And we had huge celebrations for my 56th birthday. No, we didn't.
We don't celebrate our
We
birthdays.
don't, no.
We're not birthday people, really. We just go, happy birthday, and that's it. And I might be extra nice
I don't think you were.
for a couple of
For
hours.
a couple of seconds, he said to me, we woke up and he said to me, oh, happy birthday. And I went, oh, yeah. And he said, a simple thanks very much would have done.
Paul,
What?
you've got something in your hair.
Have I got an apple in my hair? It's a bit seed. Yeah. No, it's on my leg.
Disgusting.
It's on my leg. What is
I
that?
don't know what it is. It's something that's dead. Oh.
It's a bit of marigold. That's what it is. Yeah. But I did have another apple in my day.
Another apple in your day.
I had an apple in my day in my hair the other day. Yeah.
An apple in your hair?
Yeah.
What, a little one?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's be careful we don't come up with any childish innuendo, Paul.
Oh no, wouldn't want to do
Wouldn't
that.
want to come up with any childish
No,
innuendos.
not at all. Not at all.
Did you see that comment?
Yeah.
I mean, how
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Childish innuendo is our life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please,
yeah.
give me a break. And there's only really one way to respond to that. Tits, bums and willies.
Oh!
Paul, I need to go out and do some gardening. My bush needs trimming. Anyway, that's
We
it.
do have, we've had beavers introduced in Ealing. We're not quite sure where, but one of the rivers has got beavers introduced back into the environment. And each time I see that beavers have been introduced, it makes me laugh. It just does.
Absolutely disgusting.
Completely childish, but there we are.
That's us.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you know what you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's round up today with Paul. Pois, pois, pois. Pois, pois, pois. Wow.
Well, we started over the last fortnight, of course,
That was television.
and finished Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Now, what do we think of Resident Evil? Very gory, but
I quite enjoyed it.
yeah, I mean,
Not as good as the films.
No, I love the films.
Yeah, love the films.
But the gore is kind of necessary, but because there's zombies, blah blah blah.
Fast zombies.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't become invested in the characters because I actually didn't like any of the characters.
Yeah, they weren't particularly likeable.
No, and that was part of the story.
Yeah.
Whereas
The most likeable was her son.
Dudar in the films,
Yeah.
you're rooting for her, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're really rooting for her. So I didn't feel as though there was enough linkage to the films.
Well, I think it was just a complete reboot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt as though it wasn't
Apart from calling it Raccoon City, New Raccoon City.
Raccoon City. I
Yeah.
don't feel as though it was big enough.
No.
But, you know, some good performances. The guy that plays the father, who was also in Bosch,
Yeah.
he's excellent.
Always a good actor.
Really good. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Yeah, okay.
There we
Resident Evil. We also rewatched the film Super 8.
Yes. We were in Guernsey. We got home one evening, I think after watching a sunset, and it was on, so we started watching it.
Yeah, good film.
Really, really like it.
Typically Spielberg,
Yeah.
Abrams,
But really,
type film.
really worth watching.
Worth a watch.
Yeah.
And also we watched
We started rewatching.
last night or the night before.
Yeah. We watched
Was it last night?
Night before, I think.
The original It Part 1 with the inimitable Tim Curry.
Yeah.
The show that scared a generation of toddlers.
Part 2 next week. But I think it's really lovely. It has a charm to it. I mean, you know, it's a
magic.
horror piece, but it has a charm to it. This group of children and how they relate and how they are challenged by other people and how they deal with that. I just think there's an absolute charm in there that isn't in the new
remake.
ones, the remake, which we did enjoy. We thought were really, really good. But actually rewatching, as we did part 1 the other day, of the original, yeah, I do prefer it.
Which was, of course, a TV miniseries. It wasn't a
Yeah.
cinema release. You know they're remaking Salem's Lot? Did I tell you that?
Yes, you said
Yeah.
that. Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. Better be good. Better be good.
Well, of course, what was the one that we did I mean, we've seen
Listen.
several Salem's Lot. The
Well, there's-
first one with
David Soul.
David Soul, where the van door, the truck door never shuts. He always slams it and it keeps coming open.
Which was kind of a wild adaptation of the book.
Yeah.
Really. Because the head vampire, Mr. Barlow, doesn't look like that in the book.
No.
He's not like a Nosferatu arch evil villain. He's not. So the remake, the second one was the one with Rob Lowe and Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, which
was good.
Yeah, we enjoyed that.
But
yeah.
lacked atmosphere,
Yeah.
I feel. So this new one, this third remake.
It'll be interesting to see what it's like.
Yeah, it will be.
And the book, if you haven't read the book, do read the book.
I love the book. It's one of my favourite.
The book is great.
Things.
Absolutely great.
Absolutely love it. It's quite a meaty novel. Not as meaty as it.
No, it is sort of like...
But it's bloody good. And it's a spine chiller.
So we've got It Part 2 next week.
Lovely.
So that will be quite nice.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we started watching two of our favourite actors in Murder in Provence. And we switched off.
Oh, we switched off. Such a shame, because we kind of went into this show thinking it was set in France and these were English people in France.
A bit like the other one that we watched.
Yeah, the antique Sally Lindsay.
Sally
the
Lindsay.
antiques dealer.
Yeah, which we did enjoy.
Yeah. And then we kind of realised that the first strange clue was Nancy Carroll's character reacting to Marmite and saying, "What is that?" And I said, "Oh, that's ridiculous. She would know what Marmite is."
So you've got two people with quintessentially British accents saying they don't know what Marmite is.
So we're like, why don't they know what Marmite is? That's bizarre.
And then you sort of think, oh, well, are they supposed to be French then?
And then we will, a little further along, we realise that, oh, they're all French.
They're all supposed to be French.
And then the sort of, it just became totally not authentic at all.
Yeah. So we switched off.
We couldn't quite get on with that. We were drawing parallels with Maigret, with Rowan Atkinson, but that's played in a very different, restrained manner. It has an atmosphere about it. It really feels French without the French language or accents.
Yeah.
And then we started to think, well, yeah, of course they couldn't all do it in French accents. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And offensive.
But there was something. What we were saying is, how can Maigret work? And for us, this didn't.
Not.
Yeah.
So, and also the Marmite thing. Well, the word Marmite is taken from marmite, which is a
cooking pot. In a French cooking pot.
Yeah, so they would know what a marmite was.
Yeah.
It just totally jarred straight away, and we decided to switch off, which is a real shame because we love Nancy Carroll.
And the production values were fantastic.
It looked beautiful, but it just would have been so much better to have either been a French cast with subtitles or set it as English people in France with French people also working the rest of the cast.
Which is what Sally Lindsay did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been better. Would have felt authentic. So sadly, we said goodbye.
Yeah.
That's it for TV this week, isn't it?
It is.
Of course, we watched the usual things like Heart to Heart.
Yes.
Oh, Jonathan. That's all she says. That's her script.
They're always having sex, aren't they?
Oh, always. We said that before.
Yeah.
Always jumping into bed.
Yeah. Oh, I feel quite cold. I don't know what can warm me up. And then Jonathan says, "I think I have something that can warm you up."
Jonathan. So yeah, that's it for this week's Sunday Chat.
Sunday Chat.
Jesus, Mary, Mother of God.
We didn't get to the bottom of that, did
No.
we? No, we didn't. No.
So thank you very much for watching. Keep the negative comments to yourselves, frankly.
Yeah.
And we don't want to see any comments on climate change.
No, and if
or
we
the
do,
weather.
they might vanish.
Yeah, just please get a life.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Go and do some proper research, frankly. So thank you, bloody thank you, and we'll see you very soon.
We will.
Take care. Toodle pip. Au revoir.
Oh dear.
Bananas.
Bananas. Bye.